Well, joining me on Skype from Austria is journalist Phil Cain, who's published a book on how alcohol affects many areas of our lives. So, Phil, there is no safe level of alcohol consumption, is that right?
Well, I think that's one way to put it. I think a lot of these studies, when they come out, they are trying to attract our attention, and obviously saying that drinking less than 14 units could come with some risk is one way to draw attention to the report. And I think there is benefit to us paying attention to this subject. Nevertheless, as was pointed out in the segment you just showed, was the risk below 14 units is low. And I think what we should take from this is the fact that drinking less than 14 units comes with a low risk, just as we are told by the guidelines given by at least the UK health authorities.
Yeah,
so,
well, let's pick up on those guidelines. And in the UK, they recommend 14 units a week. Given your expertise, what do you abide by that? Do you go less than 14, more than 14?
I personally, I try to stick to the guidelines, and I would certainly recommend that, doing so will come with a low, extremely low risk. And if that's your intention, then, this is the way to achieve it. I think in some ways it is actually quite a simple advice, sometimes obviously complicated by very complicated statistics and epidemiology behind it. But fundamentally, it's fairly simple, and I would suggest that's the way to do it.
And is there a risk with this, headline that, there is no safe level, and therefore people take that, oh, right, we can't drink anything. Well, that's impossible. I'm not going to completely give it up. And therefore some of the messaging gets a bit lost.
I can see what you're saying. I think that ultimately, there is also an issue with people who give up drinking who worry that possibly they're doing some damage to their health, or they're potentially risking, not benefiting from some heart benefit, which is often put forward. And I think this gives them reassurance to say that, look, not drinking is not a health problem, if not, a small advantage over those people who drink below 14 units. So I think, in a way, this helps those people feel more comfortable with their decision.
I mean, it's interesting. One thing that not so much touched on is the mental health side.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I understand it, like I say, I didn't write this report myself, but it's not actually addressed in this report directly. But it's certainly an issue. And again, though, that the unit guidelines we're given are a reasonably good mechanism for avoiding mental health difficulties. So, although it's not addressed in this report, it is basically covered by the guidelines we're given.
I understand. OK, Phil Cain joining us on Skype there from Austria. Thank you very much for your time and your expertise. Thank you.
Very well.